Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be trying out the new Colourpop No Filter Foundation, and this is in the shade Medium 100. So I got the filter foundation, the No Filter setting powder in the shade Banana, and the No Filter sheer pressed powder in Medium. So I'm actually refilming this video. I actually filmed this yesterday. That's when all of this came in the mail. But the reason I'm refilming it was because I did not have a great experience with it, and I'll explain why. And I think it's because of the pressed powder. So the foundation I loved, the banana powder was pretty good. I'm going to test it out again today, but I feel like my skin doesn't like the pressed powder. I mean, the pressed powder is good, but I noticed that my skin still got very oily throughout the day, and I began noticing that when I would touch my face like this, the product moved. So I think the powder is a no for me. I didn't like it. I'm gonna test it out again, but I'm not gonna test it out today. I'm gonna try out actually a new powder. So I got this one recently. I know I'm very late on this, but I got the Too Faced Peach Perfect, and this is a mattifying powder. And I saw a lot of good reviews on this, so I really want to test out the foundation and the banana powder, but with this powder instead. I know it's going to sound really odd, but I feel like my skin just doesn't like pressed powder. My skin just feels so extra like that, and I just feel like it doesn't like it. So I'm going to try out the loose powder instead. Loose powders are a lot more lightweight, where like a pressed powder is almost like a foundation kind of. So I feel like maybe that was just too much for my skin. So I'm going to try out the loose powder instead. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes of all time. This is the Morphe M439 brush. So what I want to mention about this packaging, which I really love, is that you can't press down, but you have to like turn it and then you can press. So I love how this foundation looks. I feel like it's pretty full coverage. I love it. And I'm going to be using a stippling brush. This is the Bdellium Tools 955 brush, and I love using this after foundation because it's going to really help your foundation settle in. And it just like helps your foundation kind of like look like skin a little more, because sometimes when you put on foundation, it looks like the foundation is just sitting on top of it, and you don't really want that look. You want it to look like the foundation is your skin. After that, we're going to be using the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Light 18. And usually what I like to do, I just like to apply enough underneath the eyes and whatever is excess like on my beauty sponge, then I'm going to use the rest on the forehead. And so I've really been into like the Morphe sponge instead of the beauty blender. I feel like the beauty blender is just really overpriced. So next I'm using the Colourpop No Filter setting powder in the shade Banana, and I'm going to just sprinkle some on top of the cap. And we want to brighten our under eyes. And I'm just going to grab, this is the Moda Pro brush and chisel. It says BMX 250. So we're just going to grab some. I love this brush because it picks up enough product, and then you just set your eyes underneath. I really love that banana powder. Like, looking in the mirror, my pores instantly look very, very tiny. It looks like I have no pores. Yesterday I tried out putting the banana powder with the beauty sponge, and I didn't really like how it looked. I felt like almost like the sponge is absorbing the banana powder. I don't know how to explain it, but when you apply it with the brush, I feel like it gets all that powder in there, and I prefer using the brush over the sponge. So if you guys have that powder, try one side with the beauty blender and then try the other side with the brush, and it looks so much more full coverage with the brush. Pour some on the cap. Yeah, I think it was that pressed powder then, because my face did not look this smooth with the face powder. The pressed powder. Like, I don't know, I just don't like the pressed powder. It looks really good though. I'm gonna finish the rest of the makeup and I'll be right back. So I just finished the rest of my makeup, and I want to say that applying like my contour, my highlighter, and it was like no issue at all. It all went on very smoothly, and my face still looks very soft and very matte. So I think that Too Faced Peach Perfect powder is probably going to be like my new favorite. I was really crazy about like the Laura Mercier powder for a very long time. You guys know that's a really good powder, but I feel like this one is like the Laura Mercier powder, but like 10 times better. So I definitely love that one. I don't know how that's going to be for dry skin, but for oily skin, I definitely think it's a win. I had a lot of good reviews on Sephora.com, and I was reading them, and I definitely agree with the reviews. Like, I love it. And then the banana powder is very brightening too. So I don't know if it shows up really well on camera, but like in person, I can definitely see that like my under eyes are brighter, as well as like my chin and my forehead. And I just feel like it looks really, really bomb. So I'm definitely going to be using that one. The pressed powder didn't do it for me, but the banana powder and the foundation are definitely a win-win. I definitely do recommend those products. The pressed powder, it may work for you, but again, like my skin just wasn't happy for it, so I'm personally not going to be using it. And also, it is basically 3 o'clock. I screwed up and I forgot to tell you guys what time I actually started filming, so I think it was more or less around like 2:30. That's kind of like when I started, so we're gonna see how this makeup looks later on. I'm gonna do 0 touch-ups, and I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Guys, so here is an update. It is now 4:21. It's been about 2 hours. I did some errands. I went to the post office, and then I went to go buy a new gym bag, and I just got back a while ago, and the makeup looks so good still. Like, I looked in the mirror and it looks fresh. Like, I barely just applied it, and I love it. This looks so much better than it did yesterday with the sheer pressed powder. So it's not the foundation that didn't work for me, it was the sheer pressed powder. No, the pressed powder is not for me, but the Too Faced Peach Perfect, that's what it's called, right? The mattifying powder, I love that one so much, and I'm definitely going to be using that powder now for all of my foundations. But this Colourpop foundation is doing well so far. No creases, nothing like that. Looks perfect. I'll check back in a few hours. This is my last update. It is currently 8:40 p.m. I've had this foundation on for a good while now, and the lighting is kind of horrible right now, but I really, really love the way it looks. I've only blotted once, so I think that for oily skin, this is not the best foundation out there, but for $12, you do get a pretty decent foundation. So for $12, yeah, it's decent, but it's not the best. But the powder, I definitely do love. So I'm going to be testing out my other foundations with the powder. So we're going to be trying that out. I know this is supposed to be like a normal matte. I think that's why maybe I'm not fully matte, because the foundation finish is not all the way matte. It's like a natural matte. So yeah, I want to try it with a foundation that's meant for oily skin, that's supposed to be like really full coverage, like the LA Girl Pro Matte foundation. I think I'm gonna try it with that one. Even the Fenty Beauty one. And which one was the other one? The CoverGirl, the True Blend Matte Made Foundation. I'm gonna try all those foundations with the Too Faced Sweet Peach mattifying powder, and hopefully it makes a difference. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, the foundation and the banana loose powder is definitely really good. Do recommend those. The pressed powder, I would skip out on that. You're not really missing anything if you don't get it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!